Aha. There it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Silver Bulette Twitch stream channel. My name is Stephen Thomas, a.k.a. Silver Bulette.
Is that how you pronounce that? I've always wondered. Now I know.
Yes, Silver Bulette. Well, at least that's my assumption of how you pronounce that. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's my interpretation. So, we are here today to talk about the world of Haia, which is a superhero Dungeons and Dragons adjustment, a supplemental, if you will. It works alongside the player's handbook. We're going to talk about the characters that our friends here are going to be playing. So, fellows, if you would introduce yourselves.
Do you want to go ahead?
I was going to say we're gonna out-polite each other, and it's going to be so good.
No out-politing! All right, let's pass it to Terrence down there first.
All right. So, my name is Daniel. I have a character called Terrence. He is a platypus. He was an experiment that was kind of he went totally right. It was a good experiment, and they made him very intelligent. So he's got a little more intelligence than the average man. He also was put into a suit, a very powerful suit. Think kind of an Earthworm Jim situation where the suit is a very powerful, big suit with a tiny little platypus head sticking out the top. However, the suit was not meant to be a fighting suit. This is a medical suit. It's meant to help people. So he is meant to get into places where others cannot. Excellent. And heal, and that I'm going to be the token cleric of the team.
Always important, and we're going to see if I messed things up with those stats. All right, now let's pass it over to Hargrave over there.
Yeah, that's me. I did it. So my name is Cameron. I am a poet. Wrote this down just to show it. Now I just turned 9. You can write rhymes, but you can't write mine. So I will be playing the character Hargrave. He is a mole person. And his superheroic origin is that of lycanthropy, although it's weird, and we'll get into that more later, I'm sure.
Indeed. Yes. We will also have a third person joining us. That is Autumn, and once she should be here today, and we will talk a little bit more about her character as well. First, though, I wanted to talk a little bit about the world of Haia. The idea is if you take a Dungeons and Dragons world and then advance civilization by about 2,000 years, you end up in this interesting timeline where powers have developed alongside technology, and they figured out how to do things. So it comes unto a sort of superhero-like world. The certain things I've decided about this world are, number one, the different races that exist for Dungeons and Dragons can still exist in the world of Haia. You're going to have humans, you're going to have you're going to have gnomes, dwarves, potentially some halflings as well as tieflings. But the one thing that's happened is over the course of the last century, elves have disappeared from the planet, and no one quite knows why. Something happened in the last century that just elves have gone. Meanwhile, a couple of alien species have shown up. One is called Faltharians, and they have some aspects that remind people of the stories of the elves of old. And that may or may not come into play. We'll see. Now, with this world as well, we've also introduced one new race, aside from 2 alien races of the Faltharians and the Rivaldians. We have the Mole People, which Cameron will be playing a mole person in this game. And Cameron, can you give me a couple of details about Mole People that are interesting to add in as a race?
So the Mole People are the mirrored dwarven folk of this realm. They aren't like the stereotypical dwarves of D&D old. However, they are just as industrial and very much work in harmony with the humans of the world to be able to do things of great mechanical worth. And you wouldn't be surprised to see a mole working in an industrial setting or in a place where a lot of sparks are flying at any given time. Very hardy, very resilient folk, and they are, as the name suggests, very likely to be underground, all things considered. Some of the traits of their character really fit them to be a little bit more subterranean.
Cool. And one of the things that is new for mole people that I haven't seen in other races is instead of night vision and dark vision as a lot of characters have, I gave them blurry vision, and I think I'm looking at a typo that I made, but it's going to be essentially like they make up for bad eyesight with good hearing, and they're going to be able to use sound as much as anything to find their way around the world, but they don't have the best sight on the planet because they don't need it that much, when they're underground. Now, we didn't create a platypus race. However, I will also say that Daniel brought this idea to the table of, I want to be in a tech suit as a platypus. I really want this. And I was like, how can I say no to that? That sounds amazing. So, Daniel, can you give a little bit of insight as how you came to decide, hey, platypus?
So I was thinking of like, because you had a lot of different origins that you had there, like different races and things that could be. And I was thinking, what could be the most ridiculous Iron Man-esque type thing? And a friend of mine had been like talking in my ear about Earthworm Jim. And I was like, I really love Earthworm Jim. He's great. But I don't want Earthworm Jim himself because he's kind of an idiot. So I want somebody a little smarter. And then somebody was like, who was it? I think it was Joe that said, hey, why don't you be like, if you want to be an animal, why don't you be a smart animal like Perry the platypus from that Phineas and Ferb, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just put them together?
Perfect.
And put a platypus in the suit. Plus, platypus, I figured, would have the best superhero name, the Platypus. So that's how that idea came to be.
And I don't want to give away the farm, but we've looked at this character a little bit previous to this stream. Are you maintaining the same regional accent for your platypus?
I sure am.
Yes.
So look forward to that, folks. That'll be great. It's so good. It sounds like Autumn 2 is going to be sticking with the same basic character, even though I messed with a couple of origin versus race things, which we'll get into in a second. But because of that, Terrence and Autumn's character are going to be from the same research and development lab, and we're going to start there next week. And I'm going to find a way to get Cameron's Hargrave there. I had a plan, and then he brought a different character, and I was like, change of plans. And that's how Dungeons and Dragons works.
For Aid of the DM, I will say that in my origin, which I think we're going to talk a little bit about, will be arriving at the same city that they're at. So to your benefit, that I'll always make it. I won't make it on the other side of the world.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I figured we would plop you down for sure there. It was just I had a very specific somebody at the recent research and development firm asked for you by name over at where you worked, and so your boss thinks that you're just going over there for repairs. That was my thought.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
No, it's not gonna work no more. But it was something I was like, okay, I can get them together. Oh, it changed. But I can work with this.
To be fair, and this is a little bit of context for the viewers out there in cyberspace, I typically am a DM. I don't play terribly often. And because of that, I'm the worst player you can possibly have on your team. Just full honesty, I'm going to be like questioning everything that Steven's doing every single time. That being said, I'm terrible at the rules, and this is his game, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Hey. Now, we've talked a little bit about this so far, but I want to talk about the difference that I've created between race and origin. So, with every race is similar to what already happened with Dungeons and Dragons. You have certain stats that you get boosted because of your race, and you also have certain racial traits. I've also created origins, which don't layer on top of race, but create a different set of stats. And the origins depend on what exactly is going on. Now, for Daniel, he's playing Terrence Platypus, who is tech suit, which with most tech suits, you can get in and out of the tech suit, and your stats are going to change depending on if you're in the tech suit or you're out of the tech suit. However, because of Terrence's situation, he's going to be permanently in that tech suit. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless something bad
unless
happens.
You want him to die. I mean, we could crack him like a shell. We could. I'm just saying.
I will give you a chance to escape then.
Oh, definitely prefer not to. Right, unless we find an upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe another scientist.
Yeah, there we go. So, but like at least for starters, your origin is going to be a permanent origin, which means that your normal platypus stats don't come into play. It'll all be on the tech suit side of things. But Cameron, you said the Hargrave, you're planning on using an origin as well. I don't know if you want to go into this at all yet.
I think we'll talk a little bit more as we're talking through our kind of introduction here. But yeah, mine is not. Whereas Terrence in Platypus is going to be an integral part of his existence from the beginning. Mine is going to be coming secondarily. So I am mole person first, and the secondary additive of the lycanthropy is going to be added, not in the normal way, but it is going to be something that is thrust upon him as it were with greatness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, great. And so like that, so because of lycanthropy and the temporariness of it, but Cameron's going to have to keep track of both his origin stats and his race stats because he will drop in and out, and it's going to depend. That will affect what his stats are going to be, as well as what his abilities are going to be at any time. So the 4 origins that I've created, although Lycankind breaks into 3 different camps, are Experiment, Lycankind, Tech Suit, as well as Mutate, which I don't think anyone's testing out Mutate this time around. But all of them are an extra layer to race where you can, it more or less helps inform your character and their origin as well, so that you have a better sense of where this character is coming from as you get into character. But we also created some new backgrounds in this. And I don't know, Daniel, if you've looked at the backgrounds and started looking into that for Platypus. It might be more confusing because you're not a humanoid originally, so your background might be messed up a little bit with that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to create a completely new background. But I did develop some new backgrounds. And Cameron, do you want to go into Hargrave's background?
Yes, I do, as I pull up Command F to be able to find it on the document. So of the various backgrounds, I decided to go with Guardian, which reads, since as far back as you can remember, you have been the first line of defense, whether it is always in your nature to defend others or you came to realize that this was the only way to protect what you love. You are a shield for those who need it and sometimes for those who don't. So this is tanky tank. I'm a tank boy's tank. All the tanks.
Super tank.
So, yes. So there are a lot of this stereotypical heavy hero stuff related to this. There's options of like the moment of truth for when they became a superhero. One that I liked that was very Captain America that I will not be going with, but is I jumped in front of what I thought was an exploding object to protect others from the blast. So very much in line with a Captain America figure. And each of the these traits, they come with a feature in association with them. These are something special or unique about your character based on what you've chosen for that. In my case, it is I am Spartacus. Your bravery is an inspiration to others, and it can pay you back tenfold. If you are knocked unconscious during a battle near multiple civilians, they will move you to safety if they feel they are able and will attempt to stabilize you, resulting in advantage on your death saving throws. So because I'm naturally a good defendy boy, I have a chance to be... This reminds me a little bit of rustic hospitality from D&D. So it's in that same vein, but a little bit more updated.
Yeah, exactly. That was something I looked at where I was trying to figure out backgrounds and developing him to be more superhero-like, but it was also a matter of I didn't want it to be. I could have just been like, oh, rustic hospitality, great, but I was like, that's not. No, I think something else has to happen for Guardians, and I figure a lot of superheroes, when you see the very good guy who takes a huge beating, suddenly there's a crowd of people coming around them and trying to
the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man effect. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Be careful with him; he's a hero.
Put his mask back on. So now, Daniel, did you get a chance to look at the backgrounds? Did you get a chance to layer on a background?
So I have not chosen my background yet, but I have looked at them. So the ones that I was looking at were Guardian, which Cameron was also, obviously he chose. But I was also looking at Cure Seeker, because Cure Seeker also kind of goes very well, I think, with Terrence, as he's trying to find, like, I can really play it into his character, that he's trying to find a cure for himself so he doesn't have to be in the suit all the time, so he could go back to a normal life. And I like that idea. So I'm kind of leaning towards Cure Seeker, but I'm still also checking out the others.
I was really hoping that you were going to go Hoarder, just because as a platypus that has gained sentience, the idea of owning things would be wonderful.
It sure would.
I'm just worried you would turn into too much of a Not the Brave sort of thing and collect a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Cure Seeker actually does. I can see that a lot, because I'm not going to lie to you. There's going to be a smell issue eventually.
Mm-hmm,
You're going to want to be able to get out of there and clean yourself at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Or something.
All right. Now, let's go over these classes that we've talked about. Medical Marvel. And let's start there, Daniel, because I've been starting with Cameron each time.
Okay.
What Medical Marvel, what do you get at first level? What's going on there?
So at the first level, you get a feature called Light Touch. Your proficiency bonus is +2. And then let me scroll down. Light Touch. So starting at the first level, you can make contact with an ally and heal them for 1 hit point plus your wisdom modifier, which is why I have a nice wisdom buff to myself. You can also apply this to yourself, although this cannot be done if you are unconscious. If an ally is unconscious, however, the Light Touch will stabilize them and bring them to consciousness, which is absolutely great. If used during combat, it counts as a bonus action, kind of like when you're using potions and such, which is really nice too. I think that's a great feature that you added in there. You may use this ability 4 times in a day, but then you must take a long rest, so they don't regenerate unless you take the long rest, unless you just want 1 back, in which case you could take a short rest.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And Cameron, if you could scroll to your spot with Powerhouse and give us a little taste of first level.
Powerhouse. So I'm scrolling.
So much scrolling. I wrote too many pages. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's okay. That's what they invented it for. The Command F, right?
Is true. Command F. It's your friend.
Except it's not helping me right now. Hang on.
No. I lied. It's a good thing this isn't a paid advertisement.
There we go. There I am. Okay, cool.
There
cool.
he is.
So, Mr. World. So, Powerhouse. So, at level 1, I'm going to be getting some unarmored defense, some fighting style benefits, that kind of stuff. I am typically going to be doing 1d12 per Powerhouse level as far as damage. So, Beefy Boy. Everything's Beefy Boy with me. I'm very excited. I can use all armor and shields, simple melee and ranged weapons. Simple melee is going to be very much in my wheelhouse. I will tell you that much right now. I can start with basic like mauls or martial weapons, whichever we discussed with DM. It's going to be happening. When I'm not carrying any armor, my armor class equals 10 plus my dexterity modifier, so I'm bulky without anything on. I can adopt a particular style of fighting as my speciality, whether that is defense, hint, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, protection, which is very interesting as well. And then some other benefits like second wind, action surge, some of the stereotypical stuff from the D&D side of things.
Cool.
I can choose the normal archetypes starting at 3rd level and that sort of thing as well.
Excellent. I built some archetypes and various things for all the new classes because I like the idea of getting to branch out from your original character. And we'll go over that as we go into it, because I don't want you, beyond anything else, I don't want you two to have to decide yet which branch you want to go into. Oh, hey, Autumn is joining us. Hello, Autumn. Let's get you on the stream. Aha, there you are.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi.
Apologies for my tardiness. I was in a voice acting class.
Yes,
What did you
you're
learn?
good, but
Quick, voice act, go.
Well, isn't it really interesting to be out here on the Twitcher? The Twitch?
well done, yes.
Transatlantic is your first choice because that is the right choice always.
Stop it. Thank you.
It's just like, oh, I have to voice act 1941. That's what yes.
Yep. Yes.
Absolutely.
All characters.
Yeah.
All
Oh, you want me to be excited? I'm transatlantic. Are you kidding?
Yes, of course.
All right, so Autumn, we've already talked a little bit about the characters that they have developed. Let's go over what is the race that you chose as well as the origin. I think if you're sticking with the original, it ended up being human because my small little brain translated everything to everyone's human that has an origin. Oh, no, wait, that's dumb. Why did I do that?
Well, so the race that I went with was experiment. And the way it's explained is that, they call you an experiment because they don't want to acknowledge that they messed with your DNA, maybe in the name of science. So my character, Serena, was actually a human scientist working on a super awesome vaccine, and then when she didn't get her clearance from the board, she just tested on herself. So she was experimenting on herself, which is what caused her to be DNA messed with.
Yes.
So,
Technical term, yes.
technical, right? Scientific term.
Yes.
Yes.
Autumn, do you still have the numbers from when you originally rolled up Serena? And I'm curious because I don't think I asked you originally. The experiment was one of those things where I was like, it depends on what they're experimenting on, where your stat boosts are going to be. Do you remember where you dropped that big stat boost?
Oh.
She pauses, deep in thought.
Indeed. She is very deep in thought. It's not just me.
Autumn, you appeared to be frozen in time. Is that your superpower?
What a great superpower it is. It's amazing. Let's see if we get her back here in a second. But one thing that while we're waiting for Autumn to unfreeze, which I'm sure that's going to happen at some point, she's also going to be an experiment elementalist, which is a fun, I hope, version of magic user that plays around a lot with the elements involved in magic use. Of course, I had to mess around a lot with language because a lot of the spell levels don't involve spells for certain sorts of elements. Let's say, for instance, first level, acid didn't really have any options, so I wrote stupid things like acidic smite as searing smite, but acid damage.
I mean, that's fair.
Yep. But I played around with that.
The interestingness of experiment, because technically Terrence is an experiment as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So even though they are playing both the same, like, kind of, what I guess race, it's vastly different as far as what they're going to actually be doing.
Indeed.
That is true. Yeah. I feel like Terrence, despite the fact that he is an experiment, he's not so much worried about the experiment part. Why would he be, right? He just
Right.
ain't sentient. It's like, yeah, I'm a person now, so I don't care. Like, now that I'm here, I might as well do something.
Right. Let's see if she's back. Ready to go, Autumn? Okay.
Back on. That's awful. And don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Cool, you're back. Yay! All right, we froze on you accidentally. Sorry about that. But we were talking about you being an experiment, and what that meant. What do you remember? Did you got your sheet? I saw.
Yes,
What stat did you boost when you became an experiment? Because I'm curious what you chose there.
I think I picked wisdom because my wisdom's at 20. I also rolled super well for this character, so
Yay!
I got lucky. Yeah, I think I boosted up my wisdom stat because I'm pretty sure that's like my spell casting modifier. Yeah, so my spell casting modifier, or for this case, my elementalist casting modifier was wisdom. So I'm pretty sure I beefed that one up.
Right. Now, elementalist is one of those caster classes that requires you to go to your branch of elementalist right away. Autumn, which branch did Serena go down here?
She went down the acid poison route.
Okay. And did you end up going with the singular savant then? I'm trying to remember at this point.
Yes, I believe I did do that, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. For the elementalist, because we had to choose right away, because I figured that made the most sense, there are 3 different options. One is what I just said, the singular savant, where you focus on one element. There's another one that I think I called Wilder Way, which involves some wild magics. But it also, you have access to all the elements. And then the second one was like a jack of all trade element, where you don't get as good of use of the spells, but you have access to everything. Now, we talked earlier about their first abilities. Aside from being able to use your elements right away, what does the elementalist get right off the bat?
Well, at first level, I get spellcasting abilities and elemental mastery.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm like learning with you guys. It's all so good. I get with it. I get like 5. I get like 4 spell slots when I first start out. Yeah. Or 2.
Sounds right.
So you can just look at a bottle of rat poison and be like, I own you.
I own you. I made you. I created you. I wanted her to be like a kind of like a poison ivy character.
Oh no, we got the poison ivy vibes hard.
I'm glad that I did it then. Nailed it.
Excellent. Wonderful job.
So, yeah. Oh yeah. Jack of all trade, the singular savant. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm finding it all. We're finding it all.
Yeah, I had to. These are my pages that I wrote, and I'm still like, where did I put this thing?
You're still like, where is it?
Yeah. But yeah, so you mentioned that you get Master of One, which is a fun thing, a singular savant. Essentially, it's one of those skills where you get some extra damage rolls if you use your of spell, so you get a 1d4 at first level of each attack, which is good. Now, Autumn, I already mentioned this while you were off the air, but Terrence and Serena are in the same lab. Our episode 0, as it were, that didn't get filmed, we went over some of your backstories. Hargrave is a new character. He has changed. He's still a mole person. He's going towards Lycankind, but he's going to be coming from somewhere else. But we're going to keep you two in that same lab. Can you go over a little bit of what happened there with your 2 characters?
Character voices, please, character voices.
No, of course, obviously character voices don't for sure.
I'm looking right at you, Daniel. Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel.
Boy, are we ready to go or what?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love it. Oh gosh, what does Serena sound like? She sounds a little bit big like this. She's got that real, she's sort of got that authoritative voice.
Pretentious.
She sounds a little bit better than you. Not a lot, just a little bit.
Excellent. So Daniel, we started out with you before, and it was kind of important that we established you before we established Serena for reasons. What exactly went down in episode 0 with Platypus?
So there I was, right? I was on the table, and I was coming into my own. I was looking around. The professors were there. I was like, "Oh, what's all this then? I don't know what's going on." And then havoc. People got shot. I was trying to heal people, and then this things got really out of hand. And then there was a lady there, and she had powers that I had never seen before. Of course, to be fair, I hadn't seen almost anything before to my memory. This was all very jarring for me.
That's all fair. Yeah. So there was as Platypus was being finished, the experiment had worked, and the scientist that had worked upon him had a rousing success. Suddenly, the building got broken into, and a few people working for, what did I say, Mr. J? Yeah,
so.
Mr. J.
Like
wow, we're just leaning into that
menacing.
Batman stuff.
What are you talking about?
It was Mr. J, Jay. That's a full name.
That's it.
Jameson.
But yeah, they failed to do whatever it was they were trying to do because you stopped them and you healed your scientist who was heavily wounded with 1 damage. Now, aside for after those events, we turned to Serena, who was begged her board for some funding. And how did that go down?
Oh, it did not go very well at all. They absolutely thought that my experimentation was unethical, ridiculous. So I went to prove a point that my experiment was going to be a complete success. Therefore, I used it on myself, and it went super haywire. So it's probably a good idea that they didn't give me that funding. If we're really getting to the nitty gritty of it, but yes, I had my intern strap me down and inject me with the experiment.
Real quick, what is the intern's name? I need that.
Kevin.
Hang on.
Kevin, that's such a really good intern's name. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, it might be some.
Oh, I think we lost Autumn again.
I hear her very quietly. I think we're having headphone issues.
What do you mean?
I'm hearing something else. I don't know what.
I know. There's like a rousing
Weird.
laughter in the background. It's very strange.
Sorry.
Oh, is that you?
I have other people in my household. We have a whole group of people.
Hi, people.
Yes.
So when they're talking and laughing at something, it's like, yeah.
Yep. I get it. Now, Cameron, your character has adjusted. I don't know how much you want to go into your backstory. Would you like to explain why you're a guardian and what's going on there?
Sure, happy to if you got a few minutes of time. All right, character. Character. So my character is Hargrave. He is a mole person. No,
I think Autumn froze again.
Yes, she
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have to have her rejoin. Hargrave is he's one of them mole people. He's a good sort. He's a good enough guy. It's been hard out there. See, I'm about 40-ish in mole person. That's adult enough, I guess. I'm a bit more adult than most. I had the stereotypical mole person dream life, just white picket fence around the mushrooms in our subterranean home with my wife, and she passed, unfortunately. So it's just me now, and I don't have a lot of things to do. I worked for a long time, industrial, but even that seems hard to do. Been trying to find myself, trying to find what I'm about, and I got really interested in humans. They're weird, but I like the mythos, as it were. They got a lot to talk about angels. I knew about angels well before my wife passed. She liked them too. They're supposed to be pretty, at least from what I understood. And well, I thought I would try to find me an angel. When my wife passed, that didn't work out too well. So I thought I'd go visit those humans and see where they've been keeping the angels, because they weren't of much use to us. And came out from underground. It's not something we like to do too terribly often, but came into the city, and wouldn't you know it, 5 minutes in, I done did saw an angel right away. Beautiful, huge wings, well, in proportion to its body. Gray, it's powerful. I heard another human call it a pigeon. That might be like a regional name for angels. I'm not really sure. I thought I'd done enough research. But then something weird happened. There's legends about this from the old before 4 times with all the mole people, but apparently the goddess and angel used to give certain mole people gifts based on animals. I had only heard of like bears and gophers and useful underground stuff. But I guess in that moment it took me, and I became an angel. Well, kinda. Anyways, I gained some of the stuff an angel has. So every once in a while, I can get me some angel wings, big and gray, and get me some angel feet, which are pointy and got like claw bits on them. It's not what I was expecting, but if an angel decided to gift me with angel wings, might as well use it and see what I can be an angel for some folks.
All right, cool.
Are you guys a mole person who's a lichen into a pigeon?
I'm a mole person that is Beastmaster into a pigeon, meaning I gain aspects of pigeonry.
Got it.
So I get wings and I get feet.
That is awesome.
So it's going to be something, all right.
I'm still very, very tanky, and I have big, tanky pigeon wings and big, tanky pigeon feet.
Cool.
I love it.
Now, one last thing I want to go into before we end today's stream is what I messed around with for armor, as it were, because super suits are armor in themselves. So one thing that I did with super suits was I figured the basic super suit shouldn't be nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's not technically armor, but it should still give you an AC bonus. So I made that 1 AC bonus so that you're not just like getting nothing out of wearing a super suit. But then things improve as you go up. The other thing that I did with that is super suits are as much a generic concept as they are a specific thing. If you're wearing a tech suit, your super suit, as it were, would just be adding on details to your tech suit to improve the armor status of it. So you're not necessarily buying a super suit, but you have the stats for it. So it's important to keep that track of that.
Like tech upgrades and such.
Yes.
Maybe like
out of curiosity.
Like
yes, exactly. Out of curiosity, do you two have up what your particular super suits are, what they are made of? What armor class did you go with?
I did have that written down. Give me a moment. Let me get that pulled up.
I believe
we're
I
getting
had
to see like all of Autumn's living space. It just keeps changing. Hopefully one of these connections are going to work.
Yeah. Where did I put the thing? Here it is. You know what? I had it on the old one, but I don't have it on this one.
All right, that's fair. Now, I mean, as a medical marvel, you're going to have access to all the armor or super suits. So I'm assuming you're going to go on the heavier side, but
I see where it is. It's the starting equipment that I had was I had the choice between the armored super suit or the armored cowl, and I thought it would be hilarious, so I went with the armored cowl.
Okay, that is kind of hilarious. I can picture that.
Like a super suit, like Juggernaut head over like the little with my bill coming out, but my bill is rubbery, so like
yes,
wah. Yeah,
good. I love
it. It's amazing.
I was planning on going with a heavy armor layered super suit, and the backstory of my character is very much working industrial, so I think he would just be wearing what he had on to be working in the industrial setting. So in my mind, that is going to be a heavy armor to go along with his heavy construction work.
Cool. All right. And because Autumn is playing an experiment or an elementalist, they have less access to armor. I don't remember what she's going with, but she's probably going to stick with the non or light armors, which still is going to give her a little bit of a benefit.
I'll
cool.
also be going for shields on mine because shields are also included.
Ah, yes.
And I will not be going with the shield.
Need both hands for things. Cool. So I think that's all we should go over right now until we get to the actual game next week. I'm going to let Autumn know right away that we're going to get off the stream here in a second.
Good test run.
Yes. So actually, Cameron, can you text her real quick on the Facebook chat to make sure she knows? That way I can get us out of here. So thank you for watching, and thank you for learning about this game. At this point, we're going to end the stream, but we appreciate everybody being here. Next week, on Monday, we should be going starting at about 8 p.m. We're going to run about 2 hours every single session, ideally, and we're hoping to keep that a consistent 8 p.m. every Monday, showing up and presenting a new episode, a new session of Dungeons and Dragons in the Superhero Age. With that, I want to thank you all for joining me. Cameron and Daniel and Autumn, thank you for joining me along with this. Cameron, do you want to leave any plugs before you leave? Is there anything you want to plug? I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Leave you out in the blue.
You can find all of us on social media. Our different bespoke social medias will be shared, I'm sure, on this Twitch notings from Civil Blue. Pronunciation on that.
Silver Bulette.
That. So I'm sure we'll get all of our social media streams on there. You can see mine is on there, and Mr. Cam Jackson across all social channels. Please find us. We would love to interact with you as we kind of go through the process of working with Steven to develop this new framework for a superhero world. And we'd love to hear your thoughts and contributions. Please let us know on social media. Our social handles are available there in the Twitch comments below. And please subscribe here so that we can keep you posted on what's happening.
Cool. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Monday.